Hello, welcome to ADA's platform, a program that keeps you abreast with the activities of the Adamawa State Agribusiness Support Program, ADAS, an initiative of the Executive Governor of Adamawa State, Right Honorable Admadu Umaru Fintiri. My name is Steve Zambe. Today on the program, I have two gentlemen in the studio, but you get to know them after this time out. Stay with us, be right back. Welcome back. Well, I have on the program today the Managing Director and Lead Consultant ADAS Program, Unisa Ibrahim Gafa. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
I also have by my right Dr. Garba Ahmed, Acting Team Leader Implementation Committee, ADAS Program.
Thank you.
Welcome to the program, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Well, let me begin with Unisa Ibrahim, the Managing Director. This program has been launched by the Governor of Adamawa State, Right Honorable Admadu Umaru Fintiri, for quite some time now.
Yeah.
But it does look like not everybody is aware of this program. So give us an understanding of what ADAS represent.
Good day, listeners. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to make this presentation for people to be aware of the program that is running in the state, which is called Adamawa State Agribusiness Support Program. Adamawa State Agribusiness Support Program is a program started in 2022, January 2022, which will run for 10 years. 5 years, so we are running the first 5 years. But let me give an insight of what brings the necessity of the ADAS program. The ADAS program came as a result of the federal government import substitution strategy that were introduced by the federal government in 2015, which discouraged the importation of food items into the country, which are mostly agri-based products. So based on that, the federal government feels that due to the dwindling nature of the foreign exchange revenue, so the federal government felt that there should be the need to encourage an uptake of most of those raw materials that are found in the country. Then by the time when they did that in 2019, when the current administration in the state came in, they will now call in for the consultants that will facilitate for a program to be implemented, which is called ADAS program. So the ADAS program look at the opportunity of the issue of import substitution strategy. If the federal government has introduced the import substitution strategy for them to be able to have an understanding of saving foreign exchange, then we felt that the state, for us to be able to introduce this program, must be able to hinge from that opportunity. If you are talking about raw material, then which means federal government then have a land, then have farmers, so it is the state government. So which means the Adamawa State Agribusiness Program was introduced for the purpose of attracting those companies that are coming up to uptake. So what can we do to attract those companies that are to buy raw material from those farmers? So it was on the basis of that Adamawa State Agribusiness Program was conceived, designed, and implemented to run for 10 years, 5 years. So we are running the first 5 years. We run the first 5 year, first year, last year, 2021, 2022. So we are now in the second year for 2023.
So still with you, at the launch of the program, Governor Umaru Fintiri did say it will help improve the state internally generated revenue from 8 billion to 14 billion and the gross domestic product from 1.7 billion to 7.8 trillion naira and about 750,000 direct and 1.5 million indirect jobs for the youth for the period of 10 years. Do you see ADAS achieving this?
Yes, ADAS is, we have seen that ADAS will achieve this target based on the narration that I'm going to give you the background, the insight of how this thing can be achieved. I already informed you that the whole idea of introducing others is to be able to attract companies that are abound in the country, not necessarily residing in Adamawa, that will come and uptake a lot of raw materials. When this program is being introduced, then that is why we first of all the consultant conducted a baseline survey to be able to determine what type of raw material abound in Adamawa states. It was based on that we are able to now see that about 11 of such produce can be realized. So it was based on that we went through the markets, produce and livestock market, and discovered that we selected 5 from the crops, which is rice, maize, soybeans, and sesame, cotton, then I think this soybeans. So then, while from the livestock, we have been able to discover that in the state is more a livestock than the produce, than the raw material that come from the crops. So it was based on that we necessitated the need for conducting a baseline survey. And the result of the baseline survey came out to see that based on what used to come to the market, most of these products, you will be able to see that in and out, the government can be able to realize between 5 to 10 billion on an annual basis. So it is based on the raw material that exists within the state that are being traded in the market that we are able to gauge and come up with these figures. So based on that, it was based on that we now see that, okay, for us to be able to now encourage uptake of this, which means you need to also encourage the issue of more production, because what we are assessing, it was what produced by farmers themselves and taken it to the market. But for us to be able to realize that and achieve this figure, then the program came up with the projection of, while trying to assess and now be able to organize the trading of what is going on in the market and now put in place revenue to be collected. That is where the basis of revenue that is going to be realized, because these products are available at the market, they are being traded. It is not something that we are coming to do, but going forward after what is being traded, then the others program came up also with a program of increasing the volume by assessing and supporting the farmers to also produce apart from the current number. So based on that, if you look at the trend of what is currently available, that was the basis why we put this figure. It is on this basis of putting these figures that we are able to now come up with the target that is going to be achieved for that purpose.
Okay, let me come to Dr. Garba. How is ADAS program funded?
Well, the ADAS funding for the ADAS program essentially came from the capital market. There is no government funding per se for the ADAS program. One of the challenges we faced when we were conceiving the project was the fiscal environment. It's common knowledge that Adamawa State essentially relies on allocations from FAC for both recurrent and capital. Now, a project of this magnitude cannot rely on disbursement from the Federation Allocation Committee to finance it. There are several reasons. One, the FAC receipts are receipts that over time has consistently changed. They are based on receipts from an economy that is basically dependent on oil. Now, once there are challenges, once oil prices dip at the international market, it affects federal government receipts, and by extension, state government receipts are also affected, because of course it is from those receipts that at the end of the month, the allocations are divided for the 36 states. Now, we saw that challenge, and from inception up to now, we've not received a penny from government in in form of funding for the others program. In fact, when we during the conceptualization of the others program, we took that into consideration, and we looked for funding outside government to finance both the preparatory stage as well as the implementation stages. The consultants, ARDP, floated a green bond at the capital market, and it is from process of that green bond that we are implementing the others program. The others, the others company, others is a PPP project, public-private partnership. So there is the public sector component, there is the private sector component. The private sector component is the SPV. We call it a special purpose vehicle. It's called Others Program Limited. The public sector component of Others is the Others Implementation Committee. The SPV runs the program. You understand? The SPV runs the program. The implementation component, the implementation committee set up by government, works in tandem with the SPV to make sure that what the SPV is implementing is in tandem with priorities of government. And we keep government informed on activities of others from the perspective of the SPV as well as our interactions with other public sector organizations. So this is the structure of the others program. And like I said, funding for this project came from the capital market. Mr. Yunus Agafai is part of the process that assess those funds. What the processes that went behind to enable Adamawa state government access these funds. And I'm sure he should be, if you require additional information, Mr. Yunusa will be able to provide those information.
So, quite interesting. We still have much more to discuss on the program, but we'll take a break. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. This is Ada's platform, and I still have two gentlemen in the studio to give us insight on concerning the Ada's program in Adamawa State. So, while Dr. Garba was making some explanation, you wanted to add more concerning the funding of the program. So, let's hear from you.
Okay. So let me add from what Dr. Garba has already highlighted. It is really important for the audience to understand the structure of funding of others. The structure of funding of others being the public-private partnership between the private sector and the government coming together. So for us to be able to do that means that for us to be able to promote this program means that the program has to be able to now be able to look at what is the fundamental goal. The fundamental goal of others is to be able to now be able to attract companies who are coming to buy these raw materials. And as in my earlier explanation, I already explained that a baseline was conducted and we discovered the number of raw material and the quantum that will be gotten from these markets in Adamawa. It is based on that we are able to see that if Adamawa State, based on this number, we can be able to leverage and charge some level of tax, then this tax is meant for anybody coming to buy. It is not the tax that we are saying, it is not a tax that will be charged from the farmer's point of view. But we are talking about from those who are coming to buy. So which means, because from earlier discussions that he pointed out, he talked about the issue as how can we be able to introduce a program that has potential to replace funding of funding from FAC that is coming from the federal government to Adamawa State. Looking at the trajectory of the country, you will see that our revenue base and the number of our population is increasing, so the amount of coming to the state is being narrowed. So for that to happen means that there is the need for the Adamawa State to look at the potential, economic potential, that if you exploit it and now add value, so the revenue can be realized from that perspective. It was from there that necessitated the need of the baseline survey. And based on the empirical data from the livestock and produce market, we have seen that the total of what produce and livestock products are coming into the market, there is a potential, new potential of revenue to be collected from between 5 to 10 billion that has not been collected by the government. So which means this is the potential. So having getting that done, having seen that, then that is why we felt that there should be the need for us to be able to see that, okay, how can we be able to leverage funding, not from the government, since we have a potential that have the capacity to generate 5-10 billion annually, then which means we have the basis for us to be able to now raise money from the Nigerian capital market and now use it and use this 5 to 10 billion for the government to be able to offset what is going to be returned back to the investors, as well as use part of that in order to run the budget of the government. So it was based on that we now said that there should be the need for us to now we now assess what and what do you, for you to be able to attract companies to come to the state, what and what do you need to do? So it was on that basis we will have to be able to now go back and now assess since we have seen the potential, then we also have to see that, okay, for you to be able to encourage going back to the rural areas, because peasant farmers are the farmers who produce most of these products. So which means for them to produce, which means you need to improve access, you need to organize these farmers, you need to be able to even help the farmers for them to be identified, so that for the banks that are coming to finance them, so that they can see them visibility, so that also for the companies who are coming, so that they can meet them being organized. In addition to that, we have also need to identify where are the potential areas that are meant for production. So for this all to do that, money is required to be done. It was on that basis the issue of 100 billion naira came in to fund the program for a period of 10 years. But for this 100 billion to be used, which means we have to use it for 4 times, 25 per each one. So for us to commence in 2021, then the first 25 billion was raised. But before you can raise this money, because this money, it is not coming from the government, that necessitated the need for the formation of the special purpose vehicle, which he earlier mentioned. What do we mean by special purpose vehicle? Special purpose vehicle here was created for that particular special purpose. If the program is called Adamawa State Agribusiness Program, and we call it ADAS program, then that was what necessitated the need for us to form a company called ADAS Program Limited, which is a special purpose vehicle, to collect this 25 billion. So it is not the government that collects it. It is the special purpose, that is why we call it the special purpose. The special purpose vehicle will collect this money, and make sure that this money is returned. What we need from the government is for the revenue that is going to be accruing for the state, is for the Adamawa State internal revenue will be taken account, and making sure that once that money is accounted, so every month they will take it and pay. So which means that is why the need of others program came into fruition. And we have now accessed the first 25 billion. We are hoping that the next 25 billion will also be made. It is in that purpose that we can be able to put all the system. Why do we need, what are we using that money for? The using for that money is to be able to make sure that we finance major 4 pillars of this program that will allow so that any kobo utilized under this money collected must be a money when you use it, it will improve the revenue to be collected. So it is not a money that you can take like in the markets. Out of this money, markets were financed of that money. So we know how much money was collected. We put in the market, renovate this market, put them into use, organize them, and now collection have started. So based on that, we have identified about 66 market. We have already taken 12 market. Out of this 12 market, the 12 market, which means we are now going to be, whichever amount we spend in putting those markets, which means we are also going to be, from the revenue, we are going to be, from the market services, we are going to be recalling that market back, that money back. So you can see that the whole arrangement, any money being utilized, must have a corresponding revenue that will offset that money. And that is why we say whichever the money we have put as a seed capital to support upgrading this market, we are also going to recover it and also revolve it with another set of markets.
Okay, so let us discuss from the side of the traditional rulers.
Yes.
Shortly after the launch of this program, traditional rulers across all the local government areas in the state were invited at the banquet hall of the government house to sensitize them so that they would go back to their places and talk to their subject. So how is others, this question is to Dr. Garba, how is others working with traditional rulers to enhance, to make sure these messages get to the grassroots people, who are predominantly farmers?
That is where the importance of media is highlighted. We are going to, we have moved the program beyond the state level to the local governments, and our intention is that we will be moving the program beyond local governments to wards. We want to change the perspective of wards from looking at wards from a political context to a productive unit. We have established desk offices for the others program in local governments, in all the 21 local governments. Now, for the traditional institution, we know the importance of the traditional institution in supporting initiatives of government, and others has a media unit domiciled within the system to provide updates on its activities. Additionally, we work closely with the institutions of government, specifically the Ministry for Local Government and the Ministry for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. The activities, all our activities, correspondences with local government and the ministry and two traditional institutions are routed through the Ministry for Local Government and the Chieftaincy Affairs. Our interactions with them are routed through the structure. The whole idea is that we want to, these others should be seen. We want to domicile others as a project where opportunities exist. These opportunities will have to be brought to attention of people so that they know that these opportunities exist.
So you are working with the traditional rulers where?
We work with traditional rulers. We keep them abreast. We work with the local government system. We work with the Ministry for Local Government. We make sure people are carried along in the implementation of others. I know there are complaints that others is stuck. We've been talking, but people say they have not seen anything yet. You see, for me, I get a sense of deja vu because I have been in that kind of situation before. It's a program in which, unless you put the structures together, you are bound to fail. So whatever needs to be done to prepare the project, and luckily we have more or less completed preparations for the project. by the 12th of September, we'll be launching the credit guarantee scheme. And we are also rolling out several activities so that you will soon be seeing a lot of other activities coming on stream within the month of September through the end of the year.
Okay, Mr. Unisa, is the program is getting more interesting, but time is no longer on our side. So if you can answer me this question in 30 seconds, what are the challenges faced by others? Program.
Okay, let me give a brief summary of the challenges. Challenges are mostly this program is a PPP program, and so a lot of the audience, particularly those whom we are targeting to benefit from this program, see it from the perspective of the supply side, while we are talking from the demand side. What do I mean? When we are talking how can we improve the market, the performance of the market. Performance of the market means there must be visibility of participants. So it is not like other program as usual, whereby you come, people doesn't know you, you provide certain number of names and addresses. But here we have to physically identify you. You have to be able, because we are looking at where are you, where is your business, how can we see you visibly, because those who are going to interact with you are people from the finance, so that when they give you money, they need to get that money back. So most of our challenges are challenges that people want as usual, that they don't want to be identified. They only want make sure that they provide the target people that we are providing are the actual people who are key players in the businesses. But most of the people that are there, we are not in those businesses, they don't want to take positions and they want to participate. So these are one of the major challenges that is in respect of the beneficiary. Second challenge is also that we face in respect of the institutional arrangement. The institutional arrangement of the government are arrangements that are mostly done with supply-led, because government construct this, do that, but under this arrangement, we are looking at the business, how can we improve the transactions for tax to be collected. So, which means it is the emphasis is not on projects, but is on the business and market. So the transaction will take place physically, so the revenue can be earned by the government.
Unisa Ibrahim Garfa, Lead Consultant and Managing Director at ADAS Program, thank you so much for coming on ADAS platform today. Dr. Garba Ahmed, Acting Team Leader, Implementation Committee at ADAS Program, thank you also so much for coming on the program. This is how time has permitted all today on the program. Join us next time for another interesting edition. I'm Teve Zambe. Bye for now.